Hey, so in this video, I want to discuss how I evolved as a photographer over the past 5 years. I hope it'll be instructive as to how to find your style in photography as a beginner. In my case, I started out with a Canon SL2 and 6 different lenses, which in hindsight, I think is a little bit too much to juggle at the same time. But anyway, it did allow me to experiment with different styles of photography, including wildlife, street, portrait, landscape, sport, and macro photography. Um, in many cases, I was using a telephoto lens because of the compression it offered, and it's easy to focus on a single subject. I admit it can be a crutch at times because you don't really have to think too much about composition. So anyway, let's jump into the pictures, shall we? So, as you're looking at these photos, keep in mind that these are cherry-picked out of the thousands that I was disappointed with. I would say that my first year was categorized by focusing on single subjects, mainly simple compositions of animals and people. This photo is a good example of how lighting can make or break your photography. Over the following couple years, I try to shoot almost exclusively at golden hours. This one's probably my favorite out of the ones I've showed you so far. Their posture really exemplifies taking a short break from a trek in the mountains. The context is all there because of the little girl's hiking stick. Good stuff. I experimented with macro photography for a little while, but quickly abandoned it because to get professional looking shots, I'd need an external flash. I wanted to work with natural light, so macro and also studio portraits was never in my wheelhouse. This year marked my first foray into film photography. With a fixed focal length of 50 millimeters, I was able to get more context in the frame. Film makes you mindful of each shot that you take, and in my case, it also made me aware of how color can enhance, or if taken without intentionality, can detract from the image. While walking in downtown, I noticed this trio fixated on a game of chess. I got their permission to take a photo after they looked like they forgot I was there. My photos during this time were developed at a lab, but for some reason I wanted to digitize them myself. I'd use a macro lens to take a picture of the negatives, then bring back color accuracy using a program on my computer. This is a staged photo of a fellow photographer I met at the lake. She told me that her vision was fading and that, as a consequence, she had to rely on the readout of a digital camera to get the right exposure. This is another staged photo I made when I noticed this guy hanging out at the lake. If I took this photo today, I'd frame this image more to the right so that the lake would occupy more of the scene. Maybe I'd also have him stand so that he'd pop out more against the background of the lake. At this point, I wanted to stick to one focal length in my digital photography, and I found that 35 millimeters is the one that I really fell in love with. I was also interested in taking more artistic pictures, so I had varying success with some of these. So, at around this year, I started using the Canon RP, which is a full frame camera. I was excited about the prospects of my photos, but it was kind of short lived because many days I'd be out shooting wondering what the hell I was doing. The process of taking photos wasn't satisfying for me anymore. I constantly wore myself out with the need to extract a photo out of every environment, and I wasn't working with my circumstances naturally. But I did come out of that slump eventually, and I ended up producing some photos that I'm still proud of to this day. Around this time, I decided to really simplify things, and I couldn't really justify owning a digital and a film camera and a phone camera at the same time. I wanted to get rid of the decision of what to take when I go out each day. So I sold my Canon RP and was focusing only on film photos with a 50mm. Around this time, I focused on documenting my life with friends and family. Out of respect for their privacy and my own, I've decided not to post them online. This year marked a major turning point in my photography. This is where I felt like I was trying to really hone in on my style. And by reading books by Stephen Shore and William Eggleston, I think I found my voice. It takes a while to integrate what you're learning about color, framing, and only showing what's necessary. I'm still in the process of learning that, but it's really fun. When I started developing an eye for the mundane, I began taking pictures of the suburban homes around where I live. Now that I could take pictures of houses that I found interesting among so many, the soil was fertile for my photography. At this time, I was shooting with my Canon R6 Mark II, which is the camera that I currently own. I eventually wound up with three lenses that I'm sticking with, a 24, a 35, and a 50mm. And instead of switching between them constantly, I'm deciding to really stick with each one whenever I choose to. So maybe 2 or 3 months I'd go just sticking to one lens. The aspect of photography that I found most engaging during this time was figuring out how to balance all the elements in the frame, such as in this picture, where I was very intentional about where the tree was placed in the background. I can't overemphasize how fun it is to really continue improving your composition before you take a picture. It's so much better than polishing a turd in post. So yeah, that's the video. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope that if you find yourself in a slump like I did, that you'll be able to manage through it and get out through the other side. It's kind of interesting to look at the trajectory of your own photography and see where it's going. I wonder what my photography is going to look like in 5 more years. Maybe I'll make another video then. All right. Well, that's about it. See ya.